President-elect Donald Trump's cabinet continues to take shape, including a new Department of Government Efficiency. North Central College professor Stephen Caliendo joins me now. And Professor, we know that Elon Musk, we knew that he would hold a position within the administration. Now we know what that is. He, along with former presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy, will head this new department. How beneficial do you think it'll be?
Well, it remains to be seen what their charge will be, and then, of course, what approach they take. It's not uncommon to have, every so often to take a good look at government efficiency. Of course, this is a responsible thing to do. These are taxpayer dollars at work, making the federal government operate. I remember during the Clinton administration, Al Gore was sort of charged with a similar task of making things more efficient. And so, of course, these are very high-profile figures that are put in charge of it. Elon Musk, of course, spent many millions of his own dollars to help Donald Trump get elected. And you don't do that unless you want something in return. So it'll be interesting to see how this all shakes out.
Fox anchor Pete Hegseth has been tapped as Secretary of Defense, the current position held by Lloyd Austin, a retired four-star general. Hegseth is a decorated member of the Minnesota Army National Guard. Do you want to talk a little bit about that selection?
Well, I think the folks that are concerned about President Trump, President-elect Trump, are making a lot of hay about the fact that he picked a television celebrity. But, he was Trump was a television celebrity, too. And Hegseth has a history with the military. He's a decorated veteran. Again, I think the real concern here isn't about who gets nominated and who ends up serving in the top, is that what happens with the folks all around them. Normally, there's career civil service people that help keep those agencies moving. The concern here is that Trump has signaled that he wants to get rid of a lot of those folks, not necessarily in the Department of Defense, but in other departments. And so it'll be interesting to see how many of those folks stick around.
I'm glad that you brought up that point. Any other of these selections stand out to you?
Well, Lee Zeldin seemed like the most curious to me. I mean, this is a member of Congress who is, well respected in lots of ways, but he doesn't really have any history with environmental protection. So he's tapped to head the Environmental Protection Agency. There are real concerns about President Trump's stance on the environment and environmental regulation. And certainly there's a mandate to roll back some regulations. And so I thought that was a curious pick. It'll be interesting to see how that all plays out.
Okay, switching gears just a little bit. It's a big day for the future of the Senate. Republicans going to vote on a new majority leader, and two of the three candidates not necessarily in lockstep with President-elect Trump.
They'll get there. I mean, it's just like Mr. McConnell. It happens. There is one of the things that's really powerful, Natalie, that we saw in the election last week is that President Trump is when the majority of the popular vote, which he hadn't done, of course, in his first presidency, and no Republican had done for a long time. With the House and the Senate in Republican control, there will certainly be a mandate, and I think that President Trump will be interested, in fact, of seeing the Senate do away with the filibuster, because without 60 votes, they're not going to get a lot of President Trump's policies through. So we're going to have to watch that procedural move, because that has implications for democracy for sure.
All right. Professor Stephen Caliendo, thank you, sir.